How are
What's
you, mate?
happening? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, lots going on. Um, yeah, so Wednesday last week we spoke last probably. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got engaged on Thursday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Damn. How did that
Yeah.
what happened?
Well, Gabby had been away for a month, so I got we sat on our little porch after she got back, a few hours after she got back, and I popped the question. She said yes. So, yeah.
Amazing, dude. Congratulations.
Oh.
I had no idea you were cooking this up.
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about. And I mean, we've been together. Well, actually, last week was 8 years, 8 months to the day, so nearly 9 years. And as I may have said to you before, it's the first relationship that I've been in that seemingly gets better and better every year, which I've never had before, if I'm honest. You know,
It's hard to find.
so
It's hard to find.
so we did that, and that was good. No idea on anything else yet. Just certainly won't be. I mean, between us, we've got. Well, prior to this, we've got five engagements and three marriages between us. So I'm on. I was on three engagements and one marriage. Gabby was on two engagements, two marriages. So yeah, it won't be fancy, but
Yeah, you
we'll
don't.
just do very simple,
Yeah.
very basic and whatever. So yeah, that was good. And then as well, Gabby, while she was in Romania, bought land over there.
Wow. Holy shit. Big moves,
Yeah, we
man.
got lots going on. Yeah. So yeah,
That's
she
great.
we saw this land when we were over there last year, and it's. I've said about Romania before. It's in many ways, without being disrespectful to it, it's kind of 20 or 30 years behind the UK. But there's some big changes been happening. Like so,
Like
last
when
year.
you say that, like obviously they have technology, they have things like
Yeah,
when you say behind, is it trend wise? Is it fashion wise? Is it
uh,
architecturally? Like what are we talking about?
if you take so if you take Bucharest, the capital, out of it, which now gets very fancy and so let me explain. So like when I went there for the first time in 2019, it kind of blew my mind that you can walk down the main one of the main streets in Bucharest, and
I
on
have a
one
stupid
side
question before you continue. I have a stupid question. Wasn't Bucharest part of Hungary at one point? Is
I don't
Hungary no
think so.
longer?
That's Budapest.
Budapest? See, dumb
Yeah,
question. See,
yeah. No, I know. No, you know what? It's not dumb. I used to get them mixed up before I met Gabby.
okay.
I actually nearly went on a date with a woman from Budapest during my dating stream before I met Gabby. Yeah, no, that's Budapest. So yeah,
I
so you
love
could
asking
walk.
those stupid questions. By the way, I have to be
They're not
like,
that stupid because they're so similar in name. Um, yeah, so like you could walk down one of the main roads in there, and you'd have like fancy hotels, the Hillman Hotel on the right, and then on the left you'd have like dilapidated, not been touched buildings with bullet-ridden walls. You could see all the bullet holes from the revolution. Like really weird, just to see. Like the old and the new on the same street, and that's changed a lot. Like that particular building that I can remember seeing full of bullet holes is now a boutique hotel, 6, 7 years old.
right.
And you fly into the airport. So, like, Romania has a bad rep. Certainly in the UK, it has a bad rep because we have Romanians here, but the reality is half of them maybe are gypsies,
Okay.
and and regular Romanians, most regular Romanians like Gabby despise the gypsies because they are a different. So I'm not talking about. If ever you see any travel programs going around Romania, you'll see the old school Roma gypsies that live off the land, don't hurt anybody, very normal, nice people that live the way they live. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the next level of gypsies that are
Show up in the public and rip people
just
off and
just scumbags.
con
Yeah,
and
yeah.
steal
So
and
I'm
yeah,
not talking
yeah.
about the regular Roma gypsies, like the old school Roma gypsies, are few and far between. So I'm not talking about them. But so over here we've got that. Like we've had all kinds of problems on national news with it.
So that's how Romania is behind. Like when you say it's 30 years
No,
behind, like
so
is it
so like it's funny. I was speaking to. So I'll give you an example just to talk about the people from it. I'll come back to that. So I was speaking to a friend of mine that runs a really successful poultry business over here, and he used to do cabin crew for an airline over here, and Ryanair were on a big recruitment drive in the back in whenever it was to hire Romanians, and everybody was up in arms about it. But it's like he said, some of the best workers ever, work far harder than British people, whatever. So there's some, yeah. So coming back to what I was saying, so Romania is officially one of the best connected countries in Europe for the internet.
right? I think I knew that.
Yeah, it's up there, really up there. But you've got these parallels of so Bucharest itself is kind of like a mini London now. It's very fancy. You've got like exclusive rows like you have in London. You've got in Toronto,
Okay.
I'm sure. But then you can go, so where Gabi's friend stays like half an hour outside of Bucharest, like kind of like a Canadian or American housing estate. And when I say American or Canadian, because it's more spread out, it's not so condensed as it is here. New housing here in the UK, it's just, they're like rabbit hutches. You're living on top of each other. This was a really nice, lakes and stuff around, and more sense of freedom and space. But at the same time, every Wednesday, the rag and bone man had come down the road in his horse and cart still, just half an hour from the main city.
Okay.
So
that's charming.
That's charming, yeah. So some of the thinking is a little bit behind. I know I'm going to have a few issues with. I'm going to have to hold my tongue on a few issues when I'm there, because I've already experienced it with racism and homophobia. That's very old school stuff. But on a positive note, their food's immense.
On a positive note, there's no black people and gay people.
1 in 10, eh? It's like I said to Gabi.
Sorry, I had to run to the joke. I couldn't help myself.
No, I know. I was sitting there in Bucharest and I said, statistically, 1 in 10 people that passes are gay. So it's just not acknowledged. It's like you would never see two guys holding hands. You just wouldn't see it.
Okay, so it's behind it. That's a different kind of behind.
Yeah. But then you go into the mountains, it's a fucking huge country compared to like the UK. You go into the mountains and certain villages, and you won't see a car. It's all horse and cart still.
Okay.
It's, so there's some, but at the same time, as I say, the airport in Bucharest is massively expanding. Like we were on the plane over there last year, and I would guess a quarter to a third of the plane was full of British people going for the weekend to a new spa that's just opened up on the outskirts of Bucharest. And it's the equivalent of £15 a day to spend all day at the spa.
Wow.
It's like huge. So there's big changes happening there. From a business point of view, like again, 2019, you'd have never have seen this, but all over Bucharest, there was like a 3-day entrepreneur conference being advertised, which they've just had literally last week again. So big changes happening. And so when I say behind in a quaint way, it's
but not if you're in Bucharest.
No, if you're in Bucharest, it's like a mini London. It's
and the attitudes like are okay with, like there's no homophobia or racism or not minimal.
No, it's a pretty ingrained thing within.
Okay.
Most.
Are they religious? Are they like Catholic or what are they?
Orthodox Christian.
Orthodox
I don't.
Christian.
Okay, it's
Okay.
not. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't
Right.
understand all that shit. But
So it's deep.
yeah,
It's
they're
deep
not.
rooted in their religion,
It's a
probably.
deep
Yeah.
rooted thing, and like, yeah, it's deep rooted. But again, like you go to London or wherever, and you've got all manner of different people and lifestyles and whatever, and it's accepted. That wouldn't be even in Bucharest. And you know, you have to respect people's things, but also at the same time, like I can remember getting into a discussion with a very good pigeon guy that I met over there, and about the homophobia and stuff, and they just don't, they don't get it. So there's a few issues there. Like I've got 2 gay uncles. I've got 7 uncles, and 2 of them are gay. So I've lived with gay people.
But I mean, but you can live with attitudes that you can't change. Like that's
yeah,
you know, we all have to do that.
Oh.
You know, and it just might be different attitudes that you're not used to. But at the end of the day,
Yeah, I can deal with it. But it's it's a beautiful country. Like if ever you've seen the Top Gear, the TV show Top Gear over that used to be on over here with Jeremy Clarkson. They used to I don't pronounce it right, but it's Transfer Garashan. There's a road that's like in a mountainous road, and people use it to drive because it's one of the best driving experiences in Europe. Absolutely stunning place.
I have a friend from Romania. I've seen the pictures. It's a beautiful place. Yeah.
We did that, and we're going up the road, and then literally just at the side of the road is a mama bear with 2 other cubs. It's mad.
Amazing.
Gabi was a friend of hers. Do you have bears where you used to live?
Bears?
Where you used to live back in the day in the woods?
No, not really. That wasn't. We weren't in that area of. They're more northern. We're too close to the city to be bear country. It's more like coyotes and foxes and smaller animals.
Well, Gabi went to one of her friend's places about 3 hours north of Bucharest. Was just getting into mountain territory, and there's I'm big into dogs, and well, you are as well. But they had a Caucasian Shepherd cross who had to be chained up, which I don't like. But he had to be chained up because if he didn't get chained up, he'd just go and fight bears.
Right, and
the farm over the hill have got 30 of these Caucasian Shepherds to protect their flock.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so like in an
I've never heard of a Caucasian Shepherd, by the way. I feel like there's so many jokes to be told about that breed of dog.
I'm sure there is. You can come up with it.
He's friends with the assistant manager at the bank. Yeah.
Go and Google the image of Caucasian Shepherds. They're fucking huge. Anyway.
Yeah.
So like in an absolute ideal world, it's the weirdest. I've had the weirdest morning this morning. Coming back to what I was going to say, I'm sure you get it on your Mac. You can have it as a widget on your desktop. You get like old photos or photos from your iPhone, photos library or whatever, beam up to you. So I had a bunch of old photos from the Bahamas beamed up at me when I turned the computer on this morning. And then overnight, I still keep an eye on the Bahamas real estate. And I had an email with a house for sale, two streets from where we used to live, go up for sale. And then every Sunday, this is obviously many, many years ago, I can remember many Sunday, Kate and I used to watch John Edward, the psychic guy that was obviously on American TV back then.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this geezer since then. 25 years ago. So I've had all these little things happen to me this morning. Like, I'm not saying there's anything to it, but it's just weird how these things happen. And then I have TV on in the background when I've not got Sky News on. And then I just see this guy, John Edward, appear from nowhere. He's doing the rounds in the UK. It was just like these weird things. But yeah, going back to Romania, in an ideal world, I mean, I kind of discounted living back in the Caribbean many years ago for many reasons. One, I can't at this moment in time visit the US as a transit point, all that stuff, whatever. And I suspect it's very much changed compared to how I remember it. So in an absolute ideal world, the plan was originally going to be Portugal. And we still want to spend time in Portugal. I love Portugal, especially down in the Algarve. But the harsh reality is there's not as many opportunities there. It's the kind of place that you'd move to, and the harsh reality is land is so much more expensive there than it used to be. So yeah, we're gonna be based down in Romania. You're 90 minutes from Bucharest, hour and a quarter from the airport. Beautiful rolling hills. You've got 2.5 acres to start with, but there's loads of land around to expand to, and it's just stunning there. You're like 5 minutes from a really nice hilltop restaurant, 10 minutes from what used to be the capital called Tago Vista. And yeah, we're gonna over time be based there. You've got loads of land for animals. Internet speed's really good. Starlink, if need be, worst case, because we are off the beaten track, is good. And can be based there, run. I mean, I don't need anything other than an internet connection really to do what I do.
Yeah, your location is unimportant, really.
Yeah. So yeah, big few weeks, got engaged, and then.
So when do you go to Romania?
We're not sure yet. Gabi's contracted to work here, but she was working over in Romania for while she was over there, and the bosses are all right with that. So, Gabi may be able to be based over there a lot of the time. We'll see. Realistically, nothing's going to happen of any consequence. I may go down for a week at some point this year just to check things out and meet various people. It's all very in Europe. It's like in France. The mayor runs the area. The land that's not registered kind of is owned by the local authority. She's already made good contacts with him. She wants to kind of like do Airbnb. There's a whole thing with people wanting to get out of Bucharest weekends, same as it would be pretty much anywhere.
Right.
So Gabs wants to do, yeah, and that's the plan. But so to answer your question, I'm not sure yet, but realistically, I may look to start spending time over there and getting stuff organized next year. But again, it doesn't really matter to me. I've got my laptop, got my screens, and yeah. So as long as I've got looking at the Starlink, and they've got some really good offers.
Yeah, my buddy just got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he lives out where I used to live, and
oh, yeah?
I had to build a tower to get internet, and only then I was getting like 10 megabits. And
I remember that tower.
That's compensating for something. We don't know what yet, but it was definitely compensating.
It was very different back then.
It was just I had stupid money at the time, and I was making stupid money. That was when I built that tower. I was at the height of my income in adult entertainment. Like that was like, $25,000 tower, no problem.
I remember. I remember it going up.
75-foot tower at the office, no problem. Buy the building for the office, no problem. It was just like, and then I just took on too much too fast, and then the rug got pulled out from under me all in 1 year, dude. It was like I took on this ramp up of expenses, like ramp up, employees, everything, and it just all died in one. It was like 3 months, when LimeWire shut down, Google took me off #1. It was like all in the same 3 months. I remember. I was
times. There with you. We've all been, as you know, we've done it in different ways. But yeah, the Starlink, it's getting impressive now, and the deal, their top offer. I looked to order it from Romania, from a Romanian address. It's half the price of the UK.
Yeah,
the same thing.
Yeah,
and
they price accordingly. Yeah,
their top offer. They throw in one of the mobile units as well, so you can use the mobile unit wherever you want.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got Gabi to do such a geek. I'm like you. I got Gabi to do speed tests while she was down at the land last week. It's not that great. So we may go with Starlink because we are like, although it's really well connected as a country, there's some blazing speeds in like I would imagine similar to what you've got in Bucharest, but obviously I'll probably go with Starlink.
Yeah.
But I'm quite excited.
That's cool, man.
I'm quite
Congratulations. That's
excited
awesome.
about it. Yeah, and the ultimate goal will be. It's just, it's silly things like. Well, it's start with the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal will be we'll still have a house here. Be based in Romania from a point of view of like the base, from a point of view of dogs and birds and all that stuff. And then ultimately spend over time, spend the winters in Portugal. Because although it's getting more Mediterranean, the climate all over Europe, especially with it being so south in Europe where we'd be based, it's nice weather, it's nice seasons.
Yeah.
But it can get cold. And I don't like the cold. So we'll see. But yeah, ultimately, then we can find somewhere in Portugal over time. So yeah, we'll see. But that's the plan. But yeah, it's exciting. And I miss having the countryside around me. I do. Up until moving here, I kind of lived with fields all around me and stuff. And even when I was living in a caravan in 2017, I overlooked a 10-acre field, and I miss that. And this place is, And the other great thing about it, like Romania, from the pigeon sport point of view, and I'm just getting noticed now. I've got people contacting me wanting to buy birds. The quality of what I've got is getting noticed, and I think they'll really do well over there. And the sport over there is far bigger than the UK. In fact, Gabi found out like within a 10 square mile of where we're going to be, there's 130 people that fly pigeons as a sport, which is unheard of. So I think that's got some potential as well. And as well, just like since we can Brexit, just moving pigeons within Europe is going to be far easier for Romania than here. It's a pain in the ass. I got birds going out to Spain tomorrow for a race. It's a pain in the ass with fucking forms and vets.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, and it's great from a practical point of view. It's like 2.5 hours from the UK for flight. Cheaper than anything to get there and back. Yeah, so that's about the news. My end.
Cool.
So yeah, still getting overwhelmed by AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not overwhelmed, but I've still got this like too many things to do to get what I want the real entrepreneur platform to be. I'm just measuring, trying. I think the older you get, certainly for me, I've tried to take things not at such breakneck speed, although some of the members in there still think I throw stuff at them way too much. But that's for them to, I've told them, if it's not relevant, if whatever I'm throwing at you to look at is not relevant to you now, just bookmark it and forget about it.
It's a fire hose. Drink the water you want to drink.
Yeah. So I've got some shifts going on. I'm going to be focusing on the monthly membership now from a business point of view. Yeah, I'm good. I am good. I just every time I hit something off the list, another 2 or 3 things seem to go on, and I don't like that. Although I have had some calls this week. I had a call today, and I got another call with a guy in the Philippines tomorrow or Friday. I've got 59 things sitting on a spreadsheet ready to release. None of them are crap, but it's just like I'm the bottleneck, And although I've got all these AI tools and stuff, it still needs doing. I can't yet say leave maybe I need to look into agents to do it, but I still don't quite trust the process yet. So yeah, I've gone to guy that used to help me out a lot. And then another guy in the Philippines that I'm going to, between them, try and see if we can clear the backlog to where, one, I've got a lot more stuff to offer of different types within the network and the platform. But yeah, apart from that, just busy. Last shipment go out tomorrow to Spain, so that's all of the races for this year outside of the US, which I don't have to be involved in for breeding. Baby pigeons coming out my ass, which is a medical condition. I got a fucking pigeon in nests everywhere. So, but I do think, yeah, I have got it's weird. I've got people contacting me that I've never heard from before about stuff. So yeah, I'm talking a lot now. I'll shut up. How are you going? What's happening?
I wonder how many of those people that contact us now are agents. Because I get emails all the time now. I've been getting this new one lately where they're like, "Is this the right email to reach Brad Goss?"
Oh, I've been getting that as well. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure these are agents, like AI agents. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bite. So I responded to one. I said yes. That's all I said. Yes. And then it responded back with, if I can get you 40 sales in the next month, how much commission will you pay? You got this?
Yeah, but so I've had both variants. I've had, is this the right whatever for Mark? I've had that, but then I've had the direct approach. If I can get you, I've had it on the syndicates, the pigeon raised syndicate side. That's the biggest one I get. So I've had it on two. I've had it on the syndicates. If I can sell X amount of your product, which, yeah, now you say it's definitely an agent because it's just completely irrelevant. Like selling syndicate spots in a pigeon race, come on. And I'll charge this amount commission.
I think if you take them to the end, they're going to ask for the money up front, or a percentage of the money up front, and then they're going to do nothing. Or they're it's the same people that a buddy of mine is a mechanic and he gets these calls all the time. They're like, we can guarantee you the number one spot on Google. And it's like, yeah, they're buying AdWords to anybody, they're charging you a fortune to put you at number one, and they're just doing what you're already an AdWords customer. You can just bid up, per click and pay less than they're going to pay.
I haven't pursued any of them. I just ignore them and put them in the junk. But
for me, it's like I get a lot of outreach where there are people that want to send me stuff, right? Or they're potential brand deals or potential. I say yes to all the free shit, So I want to see what's coming because it's also like I never know when it's going to be material. They could send me something like the doll, where it's like, oh my God, there's endless material here. So I always say yes to free product because I never know what's coming, right? But so I try to allow those leads to develop in some way, although I'm trying more and more to do it through a third-party assistant, to have that kind of managed because I have all these fancy hands tasks, dude, and I'm still trying to figure out. I've been brainstorming with Gemini and Perplexity and Claude. I just now keep like all the AIs open and I just ask them all the same questions. And I'm like, okay, what do you got for me? And a lot of the time there's overlap. But yeah, one of the things was podcast outreach, which I think I'm going to use it for. I'm going to sneeze.
Sorry.
Excuse me. Podcast outreach, which is what I think I want to do. And the other one that I liked was finding influencers like Lindsay who may want to read my books. People with a smaller following kind of say, hey, look, you're doing humor. You could do a little segment where you read one of my books every week or whatever. And I can send you the books for free. No money. Like, nobody offers money to these people. And maybe if it becomes super lucrative there, we can talk money, but like, just, make it easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, look how well Lindsay's done for you.
Yeah.
I've been saying it. Game changing.
I've been saying that for a while. I need another 10 Lindsays. I need, I believe women, but there's also a guy who has done extremely well reading my books who has a thick Scottish accent.
You mentioned him before, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a handsome dude, so I think that helps. Women like to watch him. But he does this thing where he reads it and acts like he doesn't get it until halfway through, and then he's like, "Oh, I've got it," and he's like, "Oh," and he gets all like. So there, everybody. I find everybody who does well with my books has a gimmick. Like Lindsay's gimmick is she laughs. She has that hilarious smoker's laugh that people just, want, like they enjoy hearing her out of breath laughter. Even though it may be forced, even though it may be whatever, people like that. And it's the same with the Scottish guy. They like that persona. And I've been sitting here like trying to figure out, can I make a fake influencer in Higgsfield and do all this stuff? And they're showing people doing that. But I just don't see, I don't think the AI is sophisticated enough to read my books. Unless it's like me and then it's like replace me with a pretty girl or whatever, then maybe I do it. But I'm realizing now that I've noticed there's this thing that in other like, bigger influencers, we'll call them, like are doing. And that's they pay clippers. Do you know about this?
You mentioned clippers before. Remind me.
So, Pump Fun used to pay clippers to clip my live
Yeah.
streams, right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole genre where basically there are these like high level creators. I'm trying to think of like a Logan Paul type of person, or like like a fairly big YouTuber or streamer. Usually streamers. They'll do like their podcasts. They'll do live streams, and then they publish it all to YouTube. And then they create these. There's a platform that they use to do this, and they pay people to create new social media accounts, clip the shit out of their content, and they pay per view. And so, and it's all done through these platforms where the views are verified. They can't be botted. They know how to check all the numbers to make sure they're legit. And, there's people who make 6 and 7 figures clipping content for these creators because that content clipping, and a lot of the time what they're doing is they're taking, a clip from a podcast, a clip from a live stream, a clip from a whatever, and they put it all together, or they put music at it and they do all these. So they're taking creators like me who have a ton of content could build these armies of clippers to take your content and remix it and redistribute it on multiple social media accounts. So it's not just my account anymore, right? And I'm noticing a few comedians are using these guys because I'm seeing like a friend of mine, comic Ben Bankus, who I toured with for a while. He's blowing up huge. He's a very right wing comedian, and he's moved to the U.S. from Toronto. He lives in Texas now, and he's like killing it, like selling out shows. He's doing like, even if you don't agree with his politics, he's hilarious and he's a really smart comedian. And I like a lot of people don't like him, but I think he's really good at what he does. And yes, he triggers people. That's part of the deal. But and he says a lot of controversial shit, but I love it. And I think he's got those people because I've noticed there's like a whole bunch of Ben Bankus content showing up on my feed because the algorithm knows I watch his clips, but now they're showing up with all these random usernames.
Is that kind of what Andrew Tate did?
It's exactly, yeah. And he's still doing it. He's still doing it. So that's what, yeah, he did it, but he did it with, and I think I wouldn't say he invented it, but he kind of invented the idea of mass distributing his content by having these clippers do the work. And then what the clippers do is they remix everything as affiliates. He had them all as like an affiliate army promoting his course or whatever it was, right? Like that was genius. And so now what a lot of them are doing is they're saying, hey, we're just going to pay you for the views. And for me, views equal sales. Like it's a linear thing. And my biggest problem is, I have community guideline strikes on all the platforms. So like right now I'm on a TikTok break. If I'm posting anything on TikTok, I'm having to be super careful because I have 2 strikes right now. So I have to wait for the 90 days for the 2 strikes to disappear. So to have an army of people, A, creating the accounts, B, posting the content, and like having that army of clippers, I think could be a huge leverage point for me. But I don't know from a cost perspective if I have the budget to pay.
I was going to
I don't
say
know.
how the numbers work out.
I don't know. I got to figure that out. I don't know what those look like, but I've also noticed that Opus Clip now has a new product called Agent Opus, and I was actually going to take some time today and look at it and see is there a way to automate that? You know, maybe I just have to create and I've noticed that I did a test with Fancy Hands the other day, and I said, "Hey, create a Gmail, create an Instagram, create a TikTok under this username," and they did it for me. So I can have them create the accounts and then have the spreadsheet of accounts fed to these clippers, hopefully, or have the clippers create the accounts. I don't know how it all works, but I may test it out. I might just take like $10,000 and say, okay, let's see, does this create return?
That'll be
Because I have a lot of content.
fascinating to that. Well, yeah,
a
sure.
lot of
Yeah.
content, right? So you can go through my YouTube channel, grab all my content, right, and then just throw it at one of the and you can use AI to do. I don't care how you do it. If you're getting views, you're getting views. But I think that's how a lot of these guys are getting more popular. Is their content is showing up on other accounts, and it's different content. It's different mixes of the, and I think that could work in your business too, right? Like
Well,
the
that's what
idea
I'm
of
thinking. I mean, my thoughts on Tate and that whole fucking thing, but you have to hand it to him. He was fucking genius how he blew that up doing that strategy. I mean, just thousands of people mixing, taking his content and putting it out there, and he had them all as affiliates. I mean, like you say, he was right at the beginning of that. So, yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking about. Like, but I mean, obviously he did it, and they were affiliates, so his costs were he earns, they
zero.
earn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And I don't
but
know. I mean, Amazon affiliate is a thing, but the percentage is low. You're going to earn 5% on a
but from
$15
your
book or
point,
$12
from
book.
your point of view, because you are having these issues with strikes and whatever, that's another really big thing plus for you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to do is hire that out, like you're doing with get a virtual assistant in the Philippines or something who can, you know, do the posting part. Because I don't want to do that.
No.
you
Okay.
know, like I don't even. I'm to the point where I don't even want to I don't want to do the work of creating a social media account and running through the verification process and doing I feel like I'm like, not that I'm above it, but it's a bad use of my time.
You passed it. Yeah. You
So
passed
if
it.
I can pay somebody to, have Fancy Hands do that and then pay someone else to log in and post the stuff. And if they get, they get banned from Instagram or whatever, it's me, but it's not me, you know? And I don't want it linked to my device. I just don't want to do it, So maybe I got to hire that out and then, or find hire these clippers.
Well, I've opened it as a bookmark as a search, but there's got to be resources out there that you can.
Like I'll pay my daughter to do it all summer, or whatever. Like, there's something there. Um, if I can figure out how to amplify what I've already done, is I have thousands of YouTube videos, and most of it's just, it's not the same content. It's all unique content that can be mixed into new unique content, and I'm probably sitting on a gold mine.
I agree. It's
This
just
is
got.
what happens. I haven't taken my ADD drugs for 2 weeks, and I said today I'm going to take the Vyvanse, and I got some weird ass clarity talking to you. So thank you.
Me on the drugs.
It's it's all yes. It's all. I always get clarity talking to you. You're the one who told me I should write 100 books.
Yeah, I mean it's you need 10 more. But we started this conversation by saying you need 10 more lenses. So how can you manufacture 100 clippers that act as 10 lenses until you find 10 lenses or in addition to?
Yeah, or just live with the clippers, or just if
It's
the
got me,
clippers do the work, then
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean.
It's got me
It's
thinking, because I've been seeing some weird stuff even in the racing pigeon game. I've mentioned it before. I don't really go on Insta and TikTok as much as perhaps I should from a business point of view, but
yeah.
I've been seeing a definite rise in pigeon-related accounts with massive interactions. And then I've been seeing, which now has just kind of clicked, then I've been seeing remixes of some remixed videos of some content that the original owner of it is not the poster. So even in that little niche, maybe that's what's happening.
Sure.
Because I've always, and I told you before, I've seen, even again in that, a lot of this quite a few social accounts are run by women, girls. Within that, there's a reason for that as well. Now, how many of them are AI? How many of them are real? Who knows? But yeah, certainly for my real entrepreneur stuff. I mean, I looked at what Tate did and I thought that is genius and that needs to be used as a case study. And what you're talking about.
He was everywhere at one point. Like every third clip was fucking Tate. You know what I mean? He was everywhere. That was smart.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And these clippers know exactly what they're doing. Like they have it all dialed in. Some of these guys are smart.
What's funny about
a lot of these people that are paying for the clippers, they don't have the monetization that I have. Like if I'm paying you to clip videos of me reading books, that's a commercial. I'm paying you to post my commercial.
I'm gonna look into that more.
I sit in a weird pocket where my content is my commercial. My content is for sale, and it's like it's one of the weirdest places because I don't have to say that my stuff is sponsored. I don't have to say it's a paid promotion. I don't have to say I'm giving you the entire book. I'm reading you the whole thing. So I'm not selling it to you. I'm giving it to you in the video, but by giving it to you in the video, you still buy it because you want to give it to someone else.
Yeah.
It's a weird pocket to be in because it flies under all the weird restrictions that are involved with I'm shilling my own product.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Well, I definitely think you need to look at that. I mean,
so out of everything I've told you idea wise, do you think clippers is the either try to build out my own clip army with agents and whatever, or pay one of these clipping platforms to do it for me?
I'd go both. Compared to what we were talking about last week, which is the coloring book, because we saw the numbers. I think this is a quicker, easier way of knowing if it's a good doer. And I'd personally try and, like, you've got all those fancy hands tasks. Yeah, I'd probably do the both. I'd probably find a few more lenses, like as Lindsay does it, not clipper, just reading your books out. I'd probably try and do that, and I'd go with a clipping personally. Because you are in a unique situation, and look, we all need scale, right? At the end of the day, scale, traffic, sales. That's what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. And you've got so much content that, because that would be a lot of people's issue with trying to do this is, right, have I got enough content for people to do this? Well, that is not an issue for you.
Yeah, scrape my YouTube channel. Just go scrape it. It's all there.
So yeah,
all my shorts, all my long form, it's all there.
I think that's a better idea, man.
Yeah.
But I would also try and find a few more lenses in a regular type of thing. Because I think
I've tried to, and it's like it's never the cute girl. It's never like It's always been like, this random, like, mom type or whatever.
Mm,
Like I did it for a while where I got OnlyFans models to read my books.
hmm
Nothing. Nothing. So I did a thing where I was like, it's OnlyFans story time. And I like, I reach out to these OnlyFans models and they'd all say yes. Cause they're like, oh, this guy's got a lot of followers. If a couple of his fans, subscribe, it's worth reading one of his books. And so I'd send them a book and they'd read it, and, but they always put like a slutty angle on it. And I'm like, why don't you just fucking read it? Like, you don't have to do,
mm,
one of them did a funny job. She got really creative and did something cool, but it just didn't, I don't know, maybe I didn't do it enough times, but it was too, the, the effort to output was not like, I would outreach 10 girls to get one of them to say yes. And then, out of the ones that said yes, I'd send the books to five and one of them would read them. You know what I mean? It was like a whole, you know,
yeah, maybe not the
lo-
right market, but if you reverse engineer Lindsay and the Scottish guy, they have their different hooks, and
yeah.
Lindsay works incredibly well, and she's a mother and a relative. No offense to her, she's a relatively normal woman that
Yeah.
laughs along the way.
People see themselves in her. That's what I think it is.
That's
She's,
so, and people
yeah.
don't see the OnlyFans model. So
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I'm lucky with Lindsay because I helped her out at a bad time in her life, and so I think
Mm.
she'll always kind of be willing to read my books, which I'm lucky. And not always, ask for money, but at the same time, I want to be respectful of the fact that she is doing me a
How did you get
favor.
the Scottish guy?
He just read Becky the Throat, he read Mike Hunt the first time. He just read it. He didn't even tell me he was doing it. He just read it, and then I followed him. We became, like we follow each other, and we're not friends. But we've had a few conversations, and he asked me for the Mike Hum book. He just wanted a PDF, so I sent him the PDF, and I sent him a physical copy, but he never read it. So I'm like, okay, it's like you can't. What I want is something that I can rely on, clippers I can rely on, right? Because there's
Yeah,
always
because
going to be
you're in
people
charge. Yeah.
hungry for the money. Influencers I can't rely on. Even if I hook one, even if I commit, I've even said to a couple female comedians in Toronto, I'm like, hey, if you want, I would be happy to kind of sponsor you to read my books to your Instagram audience to grow your audience. Because that's what, Lindsay read my first book. She had 10,000 followers. Her profile picture is her reading Becky the Throat Goat because that was the first book that went viral. Her reading that. And that changed the trajectory of sales for that book. And then she started going through my catalog one book at a time. And every time she read a book, I'd see the needle move. And that, I think people don't realize how powerful influencer marketing can be if it's done in a way like a lot of what she does is like check out this t-shirt. It's a lot of like TikTok shop kind of stuff. And it's
hmm
really easy because it's like I'm not trying to tell you how great this t-shirt is. I'm just showing it to you, and if you think it's funny, you're going to buy one. That's the
hmm
great thing about selling humor. You're not in the business of trying to like push features and benefits on me. You're just showing me something, and if I think it's as funny as you do, I'll probably buy it.
I'd go with a clipping then. The
Yeah.
question there is how you do it. Do you try and find your own, or do you go to an existing?
I feel like I'm just going to throw 10 grand at a platform. Maybe that's, like, and just see, okay, does this change things? Because what also happens is I become more famous in the process, right? So it's like it's not just selling books.
Oh,
It's
no, no,
like
no.
it pushes
It's
me into the
it's
next,
it's
you know,
profile. Yeah.
my reach is only so big as a verified creator on these platforms, or not TikTok, but verified on Instagram, like real verified, celebrity verified, not paid account, is pretty good. And if I follow like there was a Netflix show that just came out, Funny AF. It was like a bunch of comedians that were competing to get a Netflix special. And I followed a bunch of them because I thought they were funny. And most of them followed me back because they see me show up at the top of their list because I have a verified account, right? But it still only has so much reach. And then I say, okay, well, don't just clip me. I'll go download all of Lindsay's clips. I'll go download all of the Scottish guys' clips. I'll go download, there's two girls, the other two creators that read my books. I go download all that shit and put it all in a big bucket. Here's a terabyte of fucking content and clip the shit out of it. Clip Becky the throat goat. Clip, whatever I got on my channel. Clip it all. And the other thing I can do is I can have these people use my music that I've published to all the platforms. And even if it's just running at 5% underneath everything, now I'm getting royalties on the music.
Definitely do it, mate. It's like, maybe this is completely shooting in the dark, but isn't your existing audience something you could tap into to get people to do this as well as a test?
I think I would just use a platform because those are the people that know what they're doing, right? Let them compete for the views. But I also think that I can pay less than some of these other creators, right? Like the barrier of entry is based on how hard is it going to be to get views. If you're making entrepreneur content, your cost is up here. Because there's so many people competing for it, and you're trying to sell something, and it's high ticket, and it's whatever, and it's like not as many people consuming it. But humor content, viral worthy content, is like the baseline, right? And it's like paying for clicks, right? The lower the easier it is to get the click, the cheaper it is. So if I'm making humor content and I'm like, hey, go clip my content. Yeah, I pay less than Andrew Tate, but it's easier to push my content out.
Okay. Well, I wait for the update on where you're at with that. That's definitely a better plan than the last week's idea.
Okay. Then I think that's the avenue.
It's just
I see it being done, and I'm like, okay, I see the matrix here. I see what people are doing.
I'm going to look into it as to what's going on within my side of things as well. But you can be, it's different market, but same concept. You can be the forerunner on this and see. Speaking of Netflix, going sideways for a minute, have you watched this Worst Ex Ever series on Netflix?
Yep.
Have you seen series 2?
I've seen some of them. Which one are we talking about?
First one we watched it last night. This fucking Wade Wilson prick.
Yep.
Fuck me.
Yep.
We watched it last night, and still one of the most powerful Netflix documentaries I've ever watched that still affects me to this day is the documentary about Stephen Avery. Making a Murderer.
Oh yeah, I would see that.
That affected me. How that guy can still be in prison, all of that stuff. This fucking guy. I said to Gabi, I'm sure I remember the first series was a bit more like, yeah, they got canned. The guy was a prick, but he's no fucking murderer. Jesus,
I couldn't believe the guy flipped to gay and then back, and he was just like, living in a trailer with this twink, and then like.
But then what really blew my mind, it's absolutely disgusting. Obviously, he killed the two ladies on the same day. What really blew my mind, and this is where I ask, where the fuck are we going in this society? That he became a fucking celebrity, and he had hundreds of women calling him
because he's a good-looking guy, dude. Good-looking dudes they get a pass, dude. They get a weird pass. Ted Bundy, same situation. Weird. They get a weird pass. It's like women love the good-looking bad boy.
It can't be as simple as that. I used to be a good-looking bad boy. I didn't get hundreds of messages.
You weren't on Netflix. You weren't on Netflix.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
I bet if they did a documentary about you when you were in prison, you would have started getting letters.
I wasn't. I was fat back then. Maybe when I got out, yeah.
When you got but what, either way, like, you know what I mean?
I messaged the guy.
You'd still get letters, fat or not. You'd still get letters.
I messaged the guy this morning that was talking about making my life into a 6-part series. So, you never know. But yeah, it blew my mind. It's like, yeah. But then I went and said, right, where's the motherfucker now? Because to me, when he about what I'm about to say. I have issues with the death penalty because of a few people that have been proven to have not. I did time with a guy that did 17 years for murder, and he got out because it was proven that he fucking didn't do it. So right. I have an issue with that. Plus, as I have said before, I was in jail with a double murderer who I would no problem having round for dinner because of the circumstances in what happened.
Sure.
Then you see a prick like this and you think, well, he's been charged, he's been found guilty, and now he's been sentenced. So what the fuck? Just take him out of the room and just do it now. That's how I felt, you know? So that's right. Then you look into, you go on Wikipedia to see what the fuck is doing now. Obviously, he only got sentenced in 2 years ago, whenever. Wikipedia don't even bother listing all of the people on death row in Florida unless they've got a Wikipedia page. Because there's 245 people on death row in Florida alone. And then you look at how long some of those people have spent on death row. Like 25, 35. One guy spent 60 years on death row. So I don't necessarily agree with the death penalty per se, but when you even the guy's dad in prison, you know, when you went to visit him on the phone thing, and you just think, now some people would say we obviously have a mental issue. I don't know. It blew my mind, but it really blew my mind.
His dad knew he had a problem, and his dad knew. You could tell by the way his dad was asking him those questions in the beginning. He knew that it ran in his family. Either he knew that he had some shit in his past or in his mind that he was able to control, or he knew that someone else in his family. I've seen that before. I've seen that in families before where they're like, we know we have a darkness in our family. We like, you know, there's like, you know, whether it's like, you know, self-harm or mental, you know, issues or depression or whatever it might be. A lot of families know that it's there, and they're like, when they discover that their son has it, they're like, oh fuck, you know, they really kind of feel a guilt around that. Oh, I brought this into the world.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody has the potential to become a murderer. Everybody.
Sure.
And you know, I've had people look at me when I've said the statement before when I met a double murder, and I wouldn't have minded having him round for dinner. I wouldn't. And people look at you weird because it's all situation based. And then there's another guy I've mentioned in the past, not on here, but elsewhere, that, you know, this guy is probably dead now by natural causes, hopefully, but this guy had done like 25 years for murder. And he should never be let out, you know, never.
Right.
You know? But he was a particularly creepy fucking old bloke that killed his wife and child, and you just think, I don't know, but this blew my mind last night. We're on to the next one now. But then all the women having him back as well, and that's something I don't get. You know, Gabi we've had conversations about it. You know, like some of those women had some really close calls,
and they took him back.
And they took him back. Fuckers. Yeah. And the guy's getting more tattoos and he's smiling, he's looking, because
because the someone like that, a psychopath or a sociopath or a narcissist, and they talked about it in that show, they're extremely good at being a lover. They're extremely good at, they call it love bombing, where they
Mm.
show up and they just, you know, they shower you with everything you ever wanted, and they show up in a way that's just like, holy shit, this person just swept me off my feet. They, they do things, and they find women who've already had shitty boyfriends or whatever,
Well, they're
right? And
vulnerable, yeah. They
they
always
come in
pick
and
on the
they're
vulnerable
the
women.
knight in shining armor, right? And then when they pull it away, it's so much worse. And then when they offer to give it back, it becomes that they're controlling you with that. They're like, oh, take me back. I'll give you all the love. I'll be that person again. And they want that person. That person was perfect. They want that back. He promises to be that. And then it's like Jekyll and Hyde. He shows up, he's perfect for a couple days, and then boom, pulls the rug out from under you. I know a guy, we know a guy, EBR, and he had a girlfriend like that. He had a wife like that, that was like, she had bipolar disorder yeah, bipolar disorder, and she just was crazy. And she somehow was so good at loving him that when she begged him to take her back, he did so much. Like, you wouldn't believe how many times I was on the phone with him begging him to not go back. Like, dude, you have to stop. You're in a loop. You can't get out of it. You keep taking her back. And like, she would say crazy things like, I wish your daughter was dead, and he would take her back. And I'm like, you can't come back from that shit in my world. You said that to me. If you said that about my dog, I would never look at you again. Like, you
Fucking
know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
And he, because I didn't have the contrast of how great she was when things were great. But I knew enough that, hey, no matter how great things are, if you think like that, we can't. I had a friend once in my early 20s, right before I started making good money, and he was a really good friend. He came over to my house. I had my own apartment. I was an entrepreneur. I was just like before adult, like inches before adult. I was doing web design. I was just about, like, we're talking 3 months away. And actually, no, I had already started, but I hadn't made any money yet. I was just kind of right at the tip. And I had this friend. He had a job, but he was kind of shifty. And he would come to my place. He would bring me coffee. We'd hang out. We'd talk. He was interested in tech as well, so we just kind of hung out. And he was a good friend. And then I caught him one day stealing from me, and it was like weed.
In what
He,
context?
he was
Okay.
so he was stealing weed, but he would come over and smoke my weed all day long. I never once asked him for money. Like, it was never like he couldn't come over and smoke.
Uh-huh.
And then one day, I remember I was sitting in the living room, and he said, I have to go to the bathroom, and he got up and he went and I watched in the reflection of the TV. For some reason, it just told me to watch him. And I watched in the reflection of the TV. He got up, he went into the hallway. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and he walked into the bathroom and he turned on the faucet, and then he walked into my office. And I was like, what the fuck is
Wow.
he doing? So I get up and I walk past the door of my office to go to my bedroom at the end of the hall. And I look and I see he's got his hands in my bag of weed and he's putting it in his pocket. And he sees me and he quickly puts the weed back in the drawer. And he comes back. So I go into the living room. He comes back in the living room. Then he says he's going to leave. And I was like, how much weed did you take? He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I saw you taking weed. How much did you take? And he gets mad at me, and he's like, you can afford it. And I'm like, that's not what this is about at all.
Wow.
And he pulls it out of his pocket, and it's not a lot. It wasn't a lot.
That's not the point, though, is it?
And he puts it on the table, and he's like, would you have given it to me if I asked?
Yeah,
And I
fucking
was
right, I
like,
would, yeah.
maybe. I'm like, but you're also
Are
here
you?
smoking it for free all the time.
Yeah.
And I ended my friendship with that guy. I never spoke to him again.
No, I don't blame
And
you.
And because I knew that I was on the cusp of something big. I knew the internet. I was at a point where I was like, I'm gonna. And I was not rich. I was not making any money, but I knew. I was like, I'm about to do something here
What year was
that's gonna
that then?
change my life. That
Because
would have been
it was
1990,
97 for me.
96. I think it would have been
You were a
96.
year before me.
But I
97,
but I
one
was just
search
like,
on it.
I was one of the first people to have high speed internet. I was in a town where they were piloting cable modems. And so I had all this tech at my disposal, and I knew, I'm like, I'm in a position to do something here that nobody else is doing. And within weeks of that incident, I was making, $1,000 a day spamming news groups. And then, it just kind of ballooned from there. And, I quickly figured out how to, build what we built. But I remember thinking, I can't bring a guy like that along with me, because if he's going to steal from me, I can't trust him. And if I could trust him, I would have brought him along for the ride. He would have made a fortune, because all my other friends did at that point. I mean, I brought them all in, you know,
Mhm. Me too.
and
My
and
brother
it
back in
was,
the day was earning like
yeah,
5 grand a month for doing
yeah.
nothing.
I had my brother-in-law. I brought my brother-in-law along. My dad bought a website from me. You know what I mean? Like, I brought a lot of people up in that process, and he was left out because of it. And I remember once I got an email from him once, and he knew that he was like, that he had been like blacklisted from making money with that group, and he was so bitter. His email said something like, "I hope you don't die in a bus accident," or something like that. And I'm like, wow, I'm really glad I got rid of you, because I feel
Wow.
like there's like people in your life that show you that they're garbage, and the minute they do, you gotta fucking cut them out.
Yeah.
Like, and especially if that's like a romantic relationship, if they're gonna shit on you like that, if they're gonna be that, if they're gonna hit you or treat you in that way, or even like, to me, because I think about it all the time, but I'm like, people talk about the love languages. Like, for me, it's words, right? And so if you say bad things about me, you've just destroyed me. And
I
you,
don't
like,
get I don't get people that say, "Oh, I didn't mean it." When they say something,
you
I
said it,
never say anything I don't mean at the time, ever.
100%. Yeah,
And I've been known to change my mind
sure.
for whatever reason, but at the time I say something, I always mean it, and I don't get, "Oh, I didn't mean it." I used to have that in the past. "Oh, I didn't mean it."
I've been in
I don't get
relationships where the arguing, which is natural, turns to insults or criticisms beyond the argument, and then I'm like, okay,
it.
I'm done. I walk,
Have you
and they're
ever
like,
had?
"What do you mean? What do you mean? I didn't mean it." And I'm like, I,
Mm,
and I have a saying, is that I can't unsee how you see me. And the minute I see you seeing me as either beneath you, or any label you put on it that's negative, if I'm less than awesome in your world, and you point that out to me, I don't want to be in your club anymore. I just leave. Like, it's just like, and it's the weirdest thing,
mm,
but I don't tolerate that level of disrespect from anybody. Like, even in family, I've cut family out. If you're mean to me, if you say things that make me see that you think I'm a piece of shit, or you insult my appearance, or you do something that, like, kind of ruins my day because you said something mean, then I don't want to see you anymore, because I only have so many days. I don't want any of them ruined.
Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody that's jealous or
Hmm.
paranoid or jealous?
Sure. Yeah.
I've only ever been in one, and it's the first time, one of the first times I finished a relationship. It just did my head in without
I
going into
cheated.
it.
I cheated on her.
Oh, yeah, you see, I wouldn't do that, but like
I
I
did
said
it.
to
I was like,
her,
I'm getting in trouble for it anyway. I'm going to do it.
I said like I said at the time, I'm like, "You're the one that's cheated on your ex-husband, well, husband at the time, not me." Weird, yeah. I didn't like that at
People
all.
who have done it realize how easy it is to do,
Mm.
and then and then they think that everybody does it. Everybody has that mentality, which isn't true. And then they just project it onto everybody else. They're like, well, I could do it easily. You should easily be doing it. Why wouldn't you be doing it? And then it's like, okay, well, your lack of self-esteem makes me like you less. And then you accusing me of cheating enough times makes me just want to do it. Just because why not?
I got accused of looking at a woman in a rock bar in Hong Kong. And I was insulted because I would never have looked at this woman anyway. She wasn't attracted to me at all.
Right. Yeah. You picked the wrong target.
The poor fucking taxi driver on the way back. I'm very calm normally. I let fucking rip. Oh, the taxi driver must have, what the fuck happened? Yeah. And I said all along, I said, look, you know, in the scenarios we've been in our past businesses and fucking whatever, I said, I had a wife at the time and a child, and never once did I do anything, and I had loads of opportunity to. You're the one that's cheated and in the past. And yeah, but fortunately, I don't have any of that shit now because Gabi is the least jealous person, nor does she have any reason to be.
And you're going to get married. How fucking cool is that?
Married, yeah. Dude, so the little Romanian pocket rocket.
You'll have to tell Gabi I said congratulations. I'm really happy for you both. I think you guys are great together. I've seen you through a few relationships, and I think you guys are great together. So
yeah, okay. Let's wrap that for this week. Catch you next.
Yeah.
Catch you soon, folks. Have a good week.